Now at 6, a Portland connection to the impeachment inquiry. Today, this businessman who owns multiple hotels in downtown Portland will testify about his role in pressuring Ukraine to investigate the Bidens. Cars and a home firebombed. As investigators search for a culprit, one victim says this crime is putting him out of a job. Plus, mounting pressure on the vaping industry. Walgreens and Fred Meyer are ending sales of all e-cigarettes as local stores prepare for state bans on flavored products. And the Blazers start their preseason today. In honor of 50 years as a team, they're playing at the Memorial Coliseum. In a Sunrise Rewind, we're looking back at the storied history of the venue. KGW News at Sunrise starts right now.
And where does it start? It starts right there. Stoller Family Estate in Dayton giving us this beautiful live picture this morning. Yep. You can see the skies beginning to brighten ever so slightly, pushing through the darkness of night.
I can see it. I feel it.
It does look kind of spooky. I like it. All right, good Tuesday morning to you. Thank you for waking up with us, and you will be waking up to some raindrops probably. I know I did this morning.
Yeah, it's not a lot of rain out there. But there will be
spritzy is what he's going with.
I like that word. When I say spritzy showers, I mean a shower that's kind of small, quickly hits, quickly moves on, and then you get back to some sun breaks. So that's the type of day we expect. Here's the radar right now. The only big clump of rain here on the west side is that batch that's moving up into the Cascades outside of, say, Damascus and those areas. Then a little bit of rain being picked up between Pendleton out over La Grande as well. All right, to the bus stop we go. We're in the 50s right now. We'll be in the 50s all day. And we expect from time to time the breezes to pick up. And it will be a chilly northwest wind as well. So that'll add to that October feeling. What about the roads? Here's Chris McGee.
Spritzy as opposed to spritzer, right? That's later. The Banfield right now in pretty good shape. Getting a little busier coming in from Lloyd to the I-5 split. The Sylvan Hill on the west side. Highway 26 still looks pretty good near Skyline Boulevard. And the drive from Clark County. You know it. You love it. You're used to this, right? I-5 southbound plugging up at the Interstate Bridge. All pretty normal stuff out there. Brenda, no major unexpected delays just yet.
Thank you, Chris. We begin this morning with breaking news from Capitol Hill. The State Department is ordering Gordon Sondland, the EU ambassador at the heart of the impeachment investigation, not to testify. Sondland was set to testify before lawmakers later today. He appears in the whistleblower report in the Ukraine scandal. Text messages released last week show he offered Ukrainian leaders a White House visit in exchange for investigating Joe Biden. Those texts also show Sondland tried to shut down a diplomat who questioned withholding aid from Ukraine. Sondland also has connections to the Pacific Northwest. He's the CEO of Provenance Hotels, which owns 6 upscale hotels here in Portland. Now, this is a major development and could constitute obstruction of Congress. We'll be following this throughout the morning, and the Today Show will have its own coverage starting at 7 right after sunrise.
There is a story developing in Kelso this morning that has some people very frustrated. Fire destroyed the back end of one man's car and damaged the home where he lives.
The reason this is so frustrating is because detectives think someone set this fire on purpose. Tim Gordon is here again. Tim, there are a lot of reasons for frustration here.
Yeah, Drew, there really are. For one thing, the guy whose car is damaged, you see the damage right there? Well, he's a pizza delivery driver, and right now this car is not street legal. But the bigger picture, this fire could have injured or killed somebody. Jeremy Snyder is the owner of the car. It's a 2007 Chevy Malibu, and the back end is just torched. Fire also damaged the home where he rents a room. The porch and some siding were scorched about 2 a.m. Saturday morning. Snyder noticed the fire pretty early, so he was able to stop it. Kelso police and Cowlitz 2 Fire and Rescue are investigating this as arson because of an accelerant that they found at the scene. Now, also damaged 2 other cars at that home that had their windows smashed out. This has Snyder and the homeowner very upset.
It was completely frustrating. When I saw that it was happening, I immediately just felt rage.
And you for sure shouldn't have to worry about people maliciously catching your house, your property on fire. Like, people could have literally died over this situation.
Yeah, the good news is that detectives did find some evidence at the scene that could help. And Snyder saw some people jump into a black vehicle, kind of like a Kia Soul, and speed off after this happened. So if you have any information, call Kelso Police. Brenda?
Hopefully they get those tips. Tim, thank you. This morning, the search is on for a missing University of Portland student. Owen Klinger was last seen leaving Christie Hall on the U of P campus Sunday night around 7:30. He's 6'1", with brown eyes and shoulder-length brown hair. He was last seen wearing a light blue hoodie and jeans. If you know anything, you're asked to call UP Campus Safety.
3 protesters are now suing the city of Portland and Portland police, alleging officers assaulted them during this demonstration back in August of last year. So during that protest, the far-right group Patriot Prayer clashed with counter-protesters. The plaintiffs in this suit say they were among those counter-protesters, and one of them says he got a brain injury when his helmet was hit by a flashbang allegedly fired by officers. The 2 others accused police of injuring them that day, claiming police used force with little to no provocation. Our news partners at the Oregonian reached out to the Portland Police Bureau, and they say they cannot comment on the litigation.
Tuiasa Talatosi is pleading not guilty to assault charges. He's a high-profile member of the alt-right groups Patriot Prayer and Proud Boys. So Tosi and fellow Proud Boy member Donovan Flippo allegedly attacked a man in Northeast Portland last year. After being indicted, 23-year-old Tosi fled to his hometown in American Samoa. He was arrested Friday night after getting off a plane at PDX. We heard from both Tosi and his alleged victim outside of the courtroom yesterday.
God bless everybody. I'm proud Western chauvinist, and I refuse to apologize for creating a modern world.
I do think the Proud Boys are a hate group, by the way. I agree with the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Flippo, again, he's Tosi's co-defendant here. He reached a plea deal for 4th-degree assault. He got 8 days in jail for that.
A 19-year-old Troutdale man has been arrested on child exploitation charges. The FBI says Anthony Lozowski used social media to get kids to send him sexually explicit videos and images of themselves. He's also accused of extorting at least one girl who said he threatened to share the images of her if she didn't meet him for sex. Authorities say they know of 2 victims and they fear there could be others.
Now to more headlines in your morning rush. And President Trump is facing bipartisan criticism for his sudden decision to pull troops out of northern Syria. Lawmakers call this a betrayal of our Kurdish allies who fought side by side with us to defeat ISIS. Turkey's military is gearing up at the border with Syria, preparing for an attack on Kurdish fighters. Hong Kong remains on edge after a government ban on face masks sparked a new wave of protests. The first 2 protesters charged with violating the ban arrived in court as masked supporters gathered outside. Protests again turned violent, and riot police fired tear gas to control the crowds. A federal judge has ruled President Trump cannot refuse to release his tax returns to prosecutors in New York. The judge called it, quote, a categorical and limitless assertion of presidential immunity. The president's lawyers have immediately appealed, so an appeals court blocked the release of the taxes for now. Prosecutors in New York want those records as part of a probe into 2 women who claim they were paid off to have affairs with Trump. The Supreme Court will hear arguments in 3 cases involving gay and transgender rights today. The case will test whether the Civil Rights Act, which bans job discrimination on the basis of sex, does it apply to LGBTQ workers? And that answer will be particularly important in the 28 states that don't have their own protections. Oregon and Washington are not among those. Barbie getting a new career. Look at this, one lacking female representation. Mattel is debuting Judge dolls in a partnership with GoFundMe. The companies are collecting contributions ahead of International Day of the Girl this Friday. So the money will go to nonprofits dedicated to leveling the playing field for girls. And that's your morning rush.
I like that. I was kind of a Princess Barbie girl, though, myself back in the day. I had different aspirations.
Yeah, now they're judge robes.
Love
Very
it.
cool, yeah.